Hi, this clip is about how to write an effective research proposal. Step-by-step guidelines. Dr. Javed Nanjum Sheikh is my name. Uh, Agenda is why do we need a research proposal, the essential of writing a proposal, title, abstract, introduction, literature review, proposed methods, expected results, significance, conclusion, schedule, references, mistakes, and checklist. How many words do you need for the good research proposal, and final shape of your proposal. You need to present how your research will fit within the research themes of the faculty. To do this, provide a brief, selective, and critical review of current literature and key research finding to date. You have to find out issues in your areas, then write down broader aims, then find what work has been done, and then the big thing is the gap you need to address. Make sure the proposal is sufficiently narrow and has well specified boundaries. Broadly written proposal with vague research aims and fuzzy framework do not usually work well. Try to highlight the most recent secondary sources and other key material that have shaped your research. Think too about the research question you are likely to pose. These should broadly relate to your secondary sources. The essential of writing a proposal. A research proposal is a concise and coherent summary of your proposed research. It sets out the central issue of research question that you intend to address. It outlines the general area of study within which your research falls, referring to the current stage of research and any recent debates on the topic. It also demonstrates the originality of your proposed research work. So, research problem, you need to first, you should have your research problem, then find the gap, then theoretical frameworks, and then appropriate research methodology you should have with yourself. You may wish to cover the above in one section, or you may prefer to have a separate introduction, literature review, leading on to your aims, questions, method, etc. Research look like proposal, abstract, then introduction part, then literature review. It has purpose, problem statement, and then you have to divide problem statement subset of problem statement, research question, aims, objectives, then proposed methods, expected results, significance, and conclusion. That's just main headings of your research proposals. Title. A concise, accurate, and descriptive title obviously focus on your research proposal. It should be catchy title. It should be create interest in your readers. Your title should give a clear indication of your proposed research approaches or key questions. This should provide the reader with some indication of the substance of the proposed research and the angle taken. Remember, a research proposal intends to be a clear statement of the project as a whole. If you can present that in a short title, you have already made significant progress. Abstract. One page is enough, not more than 200 pages, should be short, precise, and complete, and it should have following points: background, aim of research, method used, and results, conclusion of research experiment. Introduction part. The main purpose of the introduction is to provide the necessary background or context for your research problem. How to frame the research problem is perhaps the biggest problem in proposal writing. So you need to introduce your topic in introduction section, then some little bit highlights on problem statement, then give context, and then justify your proposed study. In a research proposal, an introduction can be a few paragraphs long. It should be concise, but don't feel like you need to cram all of your information into one paragraph. The main purpose of the introduction is to provide the necessary background or context of your research problem. Literature review. In this section, convince your reader that your proposed research will make a significant and substantial contribution to the literature. So you should have ability to synthesize existing literature, and you also need to discuss available theories, model, and text to influence your research question. Then again, knowledge gaps. Remember, you don't need to reinventing the wheel. There are different ways to organize your literature review. Make use of subheading to bring order and coherence to your review. It is also helpful to keep in mind that you are telling a story to an audience. Try to tell it in a stimulating and engaging manner. Do not bore them, because it may lead to rejection of your worthy proposal. Research problem. It is a basic beginning point. It should describe the problem your research is hoping to solve. The statement of the problem should be clear and straight to the point. So identify a specific issues, gap, blind spot, and you should narrow down your topic and again should be focused. You should formulate these clearly, giving an explanation so that what problems and issues are to be explored and why they are worth exploring. Research question. A strong research question is one that can be investigated using primary and secondary material in a way that will lead to an evidence thesis. Try to place your research question in the context of either a current and hot area, or maybe you find some older area but still it has a value. So you should provide details on the underlying research, rationale, aims, objectives, demonstrate the original contribution to the knowledge. These all comes into your research question. If your question does not work well, no matter how strong the rest of the proposal is unlikely to be successful. To write a strong research question, you will need time to researching, conceptualizing, and forming of each individual word of the research question than on any other part of the proposal. Key component of a good research question. First, clear. Before you come up with the research question, make sure it is clear. When we say clear, it simply means that your question is easily understandable, which means your readers are able to understand the purpose of your research work. Second, self-explanatory. It is again important that your research question is self-explanatory. Your research question should be framed in a way that your readers can understand it without needing additional explanation. Third, focus. Not only your report required to be a focus, but also your research question should be focused. Incisive. Research question should be expressed in the fewest possible words. It should be crisp and precise. Open-ended. Your research questions should be open-ended, which means it should not be answerable with a simple yes or no. It should be composite. Debatable. Your question should be such that its potential answers are open to debate instead of having blunt facts and figures. Relatable. The question you ask should be relatable to the disciplines you are studying. For instance, if you are studying biology, then definitely your research question should revolve around your subject that precisely centers the topic or area which you are interested in. Because this is a vast area, you can even take your professor's help to develop the research question. Aims and objectives. The primary focus of your research is usually expressed in terms of aims and objectives. Many students find it difficult to understand the difference between aims and objectives. However, in the academic context, there is a clear distinction between these terms. Aims, what you hope to achieve. Aims are a statement of intent. They are usually written in broad terms that set out what you hope to achieve at the end of the research. Objective. This action you will take in order to achieve the aim. Objective, on the other hand, should be specific statement that define measurable outcomes. What step will be taken to achieve the desired outcome? When writing your objective, try to use strong positive statement. There are some strong verbs or there are some weak verbs, so you can read them and understand them. What does it means? Use of the verb if you want to make aims and objectives. These are, if you use these words, your aims and objectives will be very clear to everyone. Proposed methods. Provide an overview of the methodology and techniques you will use to conduct your research. Cover what materials and equipment you will use. What theoretical framework will you draw on and how will you collect data? So your method should be appropriate to address the research question. You understand what are the qualitative and quantitative research methods and clearly indicate which one is best for yourself, for your research. And then you apply existing theories and research on your methodology, then sampling strategy, then how will you collect data and how will you analyze it. The guiding principle of the writing the method section is that it could contain sufficient information for the reader to determine whether the methodology is sound. A good proposal should contain sufficient details for another qualified researcher to implement the study. Expected results. This section should give a good indication of what you expect to get out of the research. It should join the data analysis and possible outcome to the theory and question that you have raised. So clearly tell us who will benefit it and how will they benefit it. And what is the future work in this area and how come you with the conditional would and tense future tense is this one. It can help to establish the significance of your study on the basis of problem you have identified and your proposed methodology. You can describe what result can be expected from your research. It is not possible for you to predict the exact outcome of your study. Therefore, your expected result need not to be accurate, but you can define the overall outcome that can be expected from your research. Significance. In this section, you should consider the following. What is the impact of your research? Are you extending the area of knowledge? Your audience are convinced with your gap. Is there any outcome and is there any contribution? Is it original research? Demonstrate both your current level of knowledge and how the pursuit of your questions or hypotheses will create a new understanding and generate new information. Explain the potential benefit of your research in terms of changes to understanding, practice, service, policy, society. Conclusion. A conclusion is not merely a summary of your points or restatement of your research problem, but a synthesis of key points. One well-developed paragraph is sufficient for a conclusion. Although in some cases are 2 or 3 paragraphs, conclusion may be required. The last word on the issue, just an introduction, give a first impression to your reader. The conclusion offers to chance a leave lasting impression. Summarizing your thought to conclusion to an opportunity to answer the so what question by placing the study within the context of past research about the topic you have investigated. Importance of your idea, the conclusion offers you a chance to elaborate and the significance of your finding. And contextualizing the research problem, this does not refer to introducing new information, but to offer new insight and creative approaches for contextualizing the research problem based on the expected result of your study. It reminds the reader of the strength of your main arguments and reiterates the most important evidence supporting those arguments. References. This section should cite all the material used in the preparation of the proposal. Management sciences, pure sciences, social sciences normally use APA style. computing and IT and engineering, IEEE, law, the Chicago Manual of Style, and health sciences, Vancouver style. Schedule. Schedule a start after the acceptance of the research proposal. Gantt chart is one of the most effective and simple tools to illustrate research schedule. So first part is topic selection, research supervisor selection, and research proposal and all the things you need to submit it. Then the second part is the develop literature review, and finish is to submission of the viva. And the finally you need to time to find the correction of final correction to award of the degree. Research schedule you present in proposal is not set in stone. They are most likely to change it. Uh, Common mistakes. Most students literature reviews suffer from the following problems. They ignore current context, scope and limitation, focus it, coherent argument. They don't have too much details which have a less importance in your study, or too little detail which are the very important uh, studies in your area. References are incorrect, and formatting a style guideline is not work is according to the given guidelines. Make sure you work hard to avoid these common mistakes. Review. Review of your proposal for yourself. Review once complete, review your proposal and think about these questions. Is research questions and research objectives are the similar to each other? Then would you really understand the methods and research approaches for your research? Is there any appropriate research question to identify to solve that methods? And is there, will it make a valuable contribution to the knowledge? The proposal look like is about 2000 words, 2000 words, and it looked like introduction, go for it 15%, then literature review 60%, then the proposed methods, expected results and significance, and everything percentages. Just write down to make it how can you write down concise research proposal. Finally, the title page, you have to have a 3 steps in a title page: acknowledgement. These are not counting the wording, then your proposal, and then schedule, references, and appendixes. These are the references. That's it from my side. I hope you like it, and take care yourself.